us and leading us in the pledge. We have a team from the 91st Civil Affairs Battalion out of Fort Bragg who are here doing pre-deployment training. And so, gentlemen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I've asked the gentlemen if they would also come to the podium and to tell us a little bit about themselves individually, what they're doing here as a team, and then we'll get a group picture.
Awesome. Well, good morning. I'm Captain Kyle Litchfield. I'm the team leader of this Civil Affairs team. We're Civil Affairs Team 162. We come from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, out of Fox Company, 91st Civil Affairs Battalion. So just kind of give you a background on what Civil Affairs is. We are part of Army Special Operations, and we support military commanders overseas by directly coordinating and linking with civilian aid agencies as well as government institutions and non-government organizations to address problems in support of U.S. government objectives overseas. So here specifically in Clermont County, this is actually the 7th iteration. We call it Operation Buckeye. So we are partnering, soldiers of Bravo and Fox Company of 91st Civil Affairs Battalion are partnering across, I believe, 10 counties, across Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. And working with, it's a great opportunity for us to work with county officials and other practices. For one, it's an added benefit for us to get this pre-deployment training, as many of the activities that we do in the counties we can translate to deployment. Most predominantly just normal interactions and coordination with actual personnel in the scope of their normal duties. And also it allows a great opportunity for us to provide some return value to the county as well, because we can bring some unique perspective based on our own operational backgrounds and our own training to address objectives that are laid by the county. So, for example, we've been spending the last 2-3 days looking at the county's overall disaster preparedness by looking at several installations and facilities. And so we'll be providing some recommendations how to enhance readiness for those facilities. So overall, we're very proud to be here, and thank you for this opportunity. And I'll go from there. But Eamon, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Eamon O'Gara. I'm the team sergeant. I'm originally from Ireland. 28 years old. I came over here 6 years ago, joined the U.S. Army. I was originally in the 82nd Airborne Division as a cavalry scout, and then I decided it was time to move over to a more interesting job that allows me to reach out to the populations in all these different countries. And it's a great opportunity now, being back here and getting some training, but also giving back to the community here in Clermont. It's a fantastic opportunity, and thank you for accommodating us.
Good morning, my name is Jason Blacker. I'm brand new to Civil Affairs. I've only been with the team for about a month now. I have 12 years in the Army. I've done 3 combat deployments, and I decided that I wanted to do something a little bit different in the military, something that would allow me to focus on different aspects of the job rather than just the combat all the time. And thank you for the opportunity to come here. I've learned a lot this week, and I appreciate it.
My name's Jared Brown. I grew up in San Diego, California. My background in the Army is military intelligence, but recently I've been trained and I'm the team medic. I've gone through a training pipeline that includes tactical combat casualty care, combat trauma management, prolonged field care, as well as some more civilian-oriented training like advanced cardiac life support, pre-hospital emergency pediatric care. And so I've been trained a lot to support these gentlemen so that they can do whatever they need to do, and as well as react in any kind of emergency medical situation.
And so, where have you all been deployed before?
Sure. I can step back and put him. I've been to Iraq. I was there in support of Operation New Dawn. So this gives me a good perspective of working in the county to flesh out some of the prior work I've done overseas as a soldier in the U.S. Army. a lot of times we don't have a lot of opportunity to train with industry, as we like to call, especially with regards to emergency management planning and coordination. So this has been a great exercise for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As I said, I've done 3 combat deployments. I did 2 to Baghdad in 2005 to 2007, and then I went back in 2007 to 2009, and then I spent a year in Afghanistan.
I've been to various countries in North and West Africa. I've been to Mauritania, Senegal, and I've been to Cameroon, doing various types of missions there.
Being newer to the scene, I don't have as much experience as these operationally hardened veterans. Most of what I've done is more on the civilian side, working with the Utah National Guard in the state of Utah. And yeah, I did trauma rotations down in Florida as well.
We have with us too Howard Dougherty, who's our director of our Veteran Service Commission, which is the best one in the state of Ohio. And so he's got a little something he wants to give you guys.
Fine young men, aren't they?
Absolutely, they
They
are.
deserve a hand.
Yeah.
I've met a couple of them already going through our office, but
Yes, sir.
very proud of everything you guys do. And I know Fort Bragg is a wonderful place. It helps out nice guys like you at a place like that, man. And they got a great museum down there.
Thank you, sir.
And I can't say enough for you. I was in Vietnam a long time ago.
AirCab, right?
Yes, sir. And I'm just proud of you. Clermont County's proud of you, too.
What he's not telling you too, he's also in the is it Military Hall of Fame,
Yes, for Ohio.
and
I
also
have 2 Purple Hearts.
2 Purple Hearts. So
And,
Thank you for your service.
well, thank you
So
for
what
yours.
was that you just gave them, Howard?
One of our county coins.
Hey, very good.
I'm sorry. I should have, but you guys are always welcome in my office. I know a couple of you been there, and I just want you to come back. And if you're back this way visiting, always come in here. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
We
And
appreciate
I wish
the
you
support.
best on the military.
we want to get a group picture. So, and Howard, you're in it too. So
Here.
Steve, come on, jump in with us. It's not a request.
Excuse me, Bob, I didn't hear that.
I think it is a request.
Oh, after you.
22 years. military. I avoided this for 22 years.
All right, we've got a few different cameras to take, so we'll make everyone.
Okay, get everybody in, or we
You know what? No, I just needed to zoom out a little bit. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And just one more with this. 1, 2, 3.
Sure. I'll first take one with this camera. Let's see, I just need to figure out the zoom here. There we go. I'll just do a manual zoom here. Okay. Very handsome.
Who are you zooming on to say that?
Everybody. Take a couple more. And then one more. Okay, and I'm gonna use this one for the newspaper. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Just take a couple more. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll let you know if we're going to the airport.
He's the one who's going to read
That was more of a subpoena than a
It was. I know.
invitation.
The streak is broken.
I'm sorry.
22 years of avoiding that. Got
And
snared.
it happened so fast.
I know, it's like, I couldn't have a response. I
No,
mean,
it's
no.
over and
Yeah.
over.
Well.
Do we have scheduled any specifically for the presentation? For the presentation,
Of,
workman's comp?
no, it's gonna be part of the motion.
Oh, okay, gotcha then, gotcha. All right, item number 1 on our agenda is Resolution 76-16 for payment of bills in the amount of $2,043,082.18. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Item 2, please.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Connie.
Recommendation of Judy Eshman, the Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to authorize the transfer of Child, Family, and Adult Community and Protective Services allocation funding in the maximum amount of $171,317 from the Clermont County Public Assistance Fund to the Clermont County Public Children's Services Agency Fund, PCSA Fund, to provide funding to support PCSA activities and administrative costs, to cover ceiling excess for the state child protective allocation, and or to cover match for federal allocations for calendar year 2016, and further to execute the transfer approval form relative thereto pursuant to and in compliance with Rule 5101-9612.4, Sections D and D4 of the Ohio Administrative Code, therefore.
Is there a motion then to authorize the transfer, allocation funding, and to execute the transfer approval form as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. 3, please.
Recommendation of Judy Eshman, Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to reappoint the following representative to serve on the Area 12 Workforce Investment Board for the term as identified below, pursuant to Section 107 of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. This appointment is for the Workforce Community-Based Organization slot, and the appointment is for Karen Shira from the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board, and it's effective for the term of July 1, 2016 through June 30th of 2017.
Is there a motion then to make that appointment as recommended, or reappointment?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay, and I know we appreciate Karen's serving on the board too, because she also represents all 3 counties in that category with our Workforce Investment Board. All right, item 4, please.
Recommendation of Judy Eshman, Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybold, County Administrator, to terminate the agreement by and between the Clermont County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, Children's Protective Services Division, Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board, Clermont County Juvenile Court, Family Dependency Treatment Court, and Adams Recovery Center out of Loveland, Ohio, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on November 18, 2015, for the provision of services relative to the hiring, training, and supervising of recovery coaches to serve Family Dependency Treatment Court participants that have children in the care and or custody of the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, in and as it relates to the Recovery Coach Peer Support Advocate Program in Clermont County, Ohio, pursuant to Article 16 of the referenced agreement, which allows for the termination of the agreement by any party, with or without cause, by providing written notice to the other parties of the intent to terminate, and further to authorize Judy Eshman, Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, to execute a termination letter therefore, with said termination to be effective July the 1st, 2016, inasmuch as of June the 1st, 2016, 6 months into the agreement period, Adams Recovery Center has been unsuccessful selecting candidates for the Recovery Coach Peer Support Advocate Program.
Is there a motion then to approve the termination of the reference agreement and to authorize Judy Eshman to execute the termination letter as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Suki, item 5, please.
Item 5 and item 6 are our certifications for this month. Item 5 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 77-16, resolving to certify the delinquent utility charges in the amount of $19,647.59 for sewer, $9,445.46 for water, and $10,303.68 for miscellaneous utility charges. These will be placed on the taxes of the properties that were served by these services, and in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code.
All right, and we'll take item number 5. Is there a motion to adopt resolution number 77-16?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And item 6, is there a motion to adopt resolution number 78-16 as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Thanks, Suki. All right, Laurel, you have item 7, please?
Item 7 is a recommendation to execute a maintenance bond in the amount outlined as surety for the installation of a sewer main extension to serve the following location. And this is for the urgent care located at 846 State Route 28 in Miami Township, and the bond amount is $1,000.
Is there a motion then to execute the reference maintenance bond as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. 8, please.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it actually on State Route 28? Is that their address?
It's on Montclair Boulevard.
Okay, it's on Montclair Boulevard, Judy said.
But the
Okay.
developer is on State Route 28, I guess.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Close.
Very.
All right, item 8, please.
Item number 8 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 79-16, determining to make improvements relative to the construction, operation, and maintenance of the Beachmont South Lift Station Improvements Project, the Nagel Lift Station Improvements Project, and the Nature Run Lift Station Upgrade Project located in Union and Pierce Townships, set forth in Exhibit A and designated as project number 6402-60135, 6402-60136, and 6402-60137, respectively, and in conformance with the detailed plan specifications and estimates of costs and financing, all of which shall be paid from one or more of any combination of the wastewater replacement and improvement fund, wastewater capital improvement fund, any portion of any federal or state grant or loan should such become available, and or by the issuance of notes or bonds pursuant to section 133.08 of the Ohio Revised Code, and payable from revenues derived from sewer rates and charges levied for the operation of the Clermont County wastewater system, and to approve the request to advertise for bids for the projects pursuant to the plans and specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in the newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, June 23rd, 2016. Schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on Thursday, July 14th, 2016 at 1:00 p.m. with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, July 21st, 2016 here in the office of the Board of County Commissioners, where they will be publicly open and read aloud shortly thereafter, and the legal notice will also be posted on the county's website. And the combined estimate for the 3 projects is $790,000. The 3 lift stations are anywhere from 37 to 44 years old, so a lot of the components, the pumps, the controls, some of the piping involved with the lift stations are deteriorated, so there'll be upgrades to all of those.
Is there a motion then to adopt resolution number 79-16 and also to approve advertising for bid and placing the legal notice in the newspaper as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Quick question. Apparently was there a main break on Branch Hill?
I know there's a leak right now on 131 at Wolf Pen, but I'm not aware of one on Branch Hill. Very possibly, though.
I thought that I heard it on the radio.
Not aware of that, but I can check and see.
Okay. Item 9, please.
Item 9 is the recommendation of Pat Martyr, County Engineer, with my concurrence, to execute a contract for services by and between the Board of County Commissioners and Thalen Associates, Division of Geotechnology, Cincinnati, Ohio, for geotechnical drilling, exploration, evaluation of soils and soil properties, inspection services, and/or construction material testing as needed at any county-owned property or right-of-way located throughout Clermont County during the remainder of the 2016 calendar year, as stated in the scope of services identified as Exhibit A, attached thereto, in an amount not to exceed $48,000. This is contingent upon the release of the purchase order.
Is there a motion then to execute the reference contract for services with the contingency as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. 10, please.
If I may defer to the clerk for item 10, this is one of
Oh,
those
that's right.
motions. She loves this every year.
She's the water course queen.
Yes, she is.
Yes, I am. I've prepared the 25 resolutions for the established 25 public water courses. You've been doing this since, for Whitmore Woods, this is the 22nd year, all the way down to Harrison Woods, which is the 3rd year, for the annual assessment to address the appurtenances for these public water courses, and the rates have not changed, and they are listed. And it's pursuant to Chapter 6137 of the Ohio Revised Code. They must be reviewed and the resolution filed with the auditor on or before July 1 of the ensuing year.
And so on these public water courses too, again, the two options are either the county through the county engineer's office manages them or through the homeowners association.
That is correct. That is the resolution that you passed a number of years ago to address these particular retention and detention basins in these political subdivisions.
All right. Is there a motion then to adopt resolution numbers 80 through 104, 16 as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Ms. Suki, you have 11, please.
11 is a recommendation to renew the lease between the board and the Clermont County Educational Service Center. This is for the space at our Family Support Center building.
There you go.
And it's going to be effective for July 1st of this year. What happened this year, though, instead of just renewing the lease for the same space, midway into the lease, they are going to vacate about 3,000 square feet. So we're also modifying the term of it to adjust for that square footage. So it will drop from 13,938 square feet to 11,033 square feet as of November 1st of this year. So the amount right now for the 12-year period that the rent will be is about $144,984.17. And I say about because that's subject to change based on a CPI that will come out in July.
Is the motion then to renew the reference lease agreement and also to execute the amendment to the lease agreement as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Been a good partnership. All right. Let's talk workers' comp. Item 12, please.
Everyone's favorite topic. Bruce Preston is going to give you a brief review and then answer any questions that you have before the motion.
Bruce, good to have you back.
Good to see you all. And it's always fun to watch government at work. And a privilege.
Yes. You can take your tongue out of your cheek on that one.
I have absolute sincerity with that. It really is a privilege. As you know, you entered into a group retrospective rating program for the 2015-2016 years. And we have some good data on the 2015 year. At this point, it is still projected to come in at a rebate, a little bit lower than we initially discussed because there were some motor vehicle accidents throughout the state in the different counties that are participating in that program. But it's still on track to, at this point, based on the current data that we have, pay back almost 17%. And this is in a year where you got 50% off of the premium, so that would bring the net down to a pretty low amount overall for the year. For 2016, we're still not about halfway through the year, but with the data that we have, that year is on target for a 48% rebate. So we're having a lot safer results for 2016 than we had with 2015, both still paying up pretty well for you. So I met with Suki and a couple other folks to review projections for 2017. The state's made some changes to the individual retro program since you were last in it. they have increased the minimums to get into the program, and they had a review that determined they weren't collecting enough in minimum premium to cover managed care costs, and so the state is now increasing the claims costs that you pay. The actual costs that occur during the year are being multiplied by a loss development factor, so the amount that you're paying to be in the program is greater than it was when you were last in the program. When we crunched the numbers using 5 years of loss data, it showed a little bit of savings projected. We then took a bigger scope and took 10 years of loss data, and it really didn't alter the figures that much. So considering the fact that it's a pretty high-risk program to be in, you are risking up to $200,000 per claim and up to 200% of your premium to be in that program. It was a pretty high-risk exposure and not a great payoff. And there has been a few significant losses over the years showing that it is a possibility out here. You have first responders, you have people involved in some pretty risky endeavors. So we compared that to remaining in the group retro program, and the decision was made that there was much less risk exposure in the group retro program because it's a shared risk, and that the potential for savings in the long run was much greater. You're also following those claims for a shorter period of time, less than half the time you would under individual retro. So the recommendation on our part was made to remain in the CCAO Group Retro program for the 2017 rating year. This is something that we look at every year for you, and the state changes things every year, and we look at those changes every year and help you try to forecast what looks like the best program. You're on target with making all of your payments with the change to prospective billing. That's been smooth for you, pretty seamless. And we've been working with you on that. Everything else seems to be going along pretty well. We're working on now facilitating the transition as Debbie has decided that it's time to retire again. And we're onboarding Terry. And so we had a great meeting. We brought together members from the Bureau of Workers' Compensation, the Managed Care Organization, and our staff at the third-party administrator so that Terry could meet and understand that she's got a number of resources out there. And we're all willing to work with her, and we're planning how we can best facilitate that transition for you.
Good. Have any questions? How long does an individual case stay on our history again?
With the individual retro claims, which were injuries from 2008 through 2014, those we follow for 10 years. The claims when you're in group retro, which would be 15, 16, and then anything happening in 17 if you choose to go back in that again, we follow those claims for about 5 years.
Okay, all right, that's me. So it is the recommendation of myself, Thomas Eigel, and with concurrence of Suki Sheets, to authorize Clermont County's participation in the County Commissioners Association of Ohio Workers' Compensation Group Retrospective Rating Program for the period of January 1, 2017 through December 31st, 2017, and further to authorize Robert L. Proud to execute the County Commissioners Association of Ohio Workers' Compensation Group Retrospective Rating Plan Agreement relative thereto, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Is there a motion then to authorize the county to participate in our CCAO's Workers' Compensation Group Retrospective Rating Program and to execute the County Commissioners Association of Ohio's Workers' Compensation Group Retrospective Rating Plan Agreement as recommended?
Yeah.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Proud.
Yay. All right, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Debbie, thank you for everything.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Welcome back. 13,
you.
please.
13 are our financials for the week. First, we have our supplemental appropriations into the county FEMA fund, $458,722. This is being appropriated in order to reimburse the county engineer who received additional FEMA funds this year. Then we have into the probate court special projects fund, $10,000 for additional projects they're doing to facilitate the adult guardianship classes. We also have one cash advance from the general fund to the juvenile Title 1D fund, $26,500, and this should be repaid in 6 months. Waiting on the grant.
Is there a motion then to approve the supplemental appropriation and a cash advance as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Proud.
Yay. All right, I believe we have 4 add-ons?
4 add-ons, sir.
All right, which one do you want to do first?
Let's do juvenile courts first. We can get Gary here in the audience.
All right, Gary. Welcome.
Hi, Gary.
Morning. A lot of stuff up here. First one is a recommendation of Judge James A. Shriver to execute Amendment Number 2 to the Ohio Department of Youth Services Juvenile Court Grant Agreement and funding application by and between the Board of County Commissioners and the State of Ohio Department of Youth Services on behalf of Clermont County Juvenile Court for Reclaim Ohio Grant Subsidy Program and Youth Services Grant Subsidy Program for fiscal years 2016-2017, which was previously ratified by the board on June 24th of 15 and subsequently amended on March 2nd, 2016. And this is for budget adjustments thereto, which represent a decrease in the total amount of $298.15 to the overall total program cost and the various programs listed there. For current budget amount of $1,591,546.20, which includes a portion of the fiscal year 2016 detention alternatives and initiatives allocation of $56,051 as referenced thereon. All those programs that you see that we're doing budget adjustments on, it's really for the state this year for the first time is allowing us in the last payroll of the year to actually do the entire payroll either in this fiscal year or next fiscal year. In previous years, we've had to divide that up, and that's been a pain to do that. So this year, we're revising the budget to include 27 pay periods this year. So that's the main reason why we had to do a lot of these budget adjustments was for that reason. And the second part of it was to include the recent detention alternatives grant that we got through Reclaim that's going to allow us to operate a program in detention to basically do assessments on every kid that comes into detention to look for trauma in their life and to address those trauma issues on the kids that come into detention.
So would you use the OYAS?
We're actually going to use an ACEs tool that the YWCA, it's an evidence-based model that they use for trauma-informed care. There's about 4 or 5 of those assessments out there that look at trauma, and that's what we're going to use in detention is the ACEs tool.
Of course, I always love to have the opportunity to have someone talk about Reclaim Ohio. Why don't you talk about the program, what it does, and success we've had?
Well, I did bring some numbers.
I didn't ask him to do that either. So.
You didn't ask me, but I was afraid that might happen. So I did bring some numbers. First of all, well, what I've really feared for years is someone asked me what Reclaim stands for.
You know what? The reason and equitable allocation of something.
Yeah, and that's you got the part that I never get is the reasoned and equitable and local alternatives to incarceration of minors. So that's what Reclaim is all about. And, it started as, we were a model or one of 9 counties that started this back in 1994. And from that point through 2016, we've gotten $27.5 million of funding for our community. And there's a lot of counties in the state of Ohio that have never received a dollar of Reclaim funding. So it allows us, in a nutshell, to provide community-based programming for the kids in our community as opposed to just, if they get charged with a felony, send them to a DYS institution. So we provide local programming for the kids in the community, and there's better outcomes for those kids if we can keep the kids in the community, provide the services they need in the community. So it just, like I said, it provides a lot better outcomes for those kids if we can provide the services in the community. So I could go on forever and talk about Reclaim, but that's it. We do have a lot of home-based type services for the kids and really for the families as well. Because if we don't address the issues that the families have, then we're never going to fix the kids in our community as well. So a lot of programs for both kids and the families.
Well, I want to put a little plug in for our local juvenile court. I chair the state advisory board for Reclaim, and Clermont County is a model county to other counties, and they're jealous. But it's good judicial philosophy that we have here, because there is another county who's wanting to change their formula, and that's not happening. So
They've been trying for a long time. I think for 2017, and I always want more and more funding, we get $30.6 million, and we're going to get just under $1 million next year, and that's the 6th highest allocation in the state. And as you know, we're not, population-wise, we're not the 6th largest in the state. You know, we get
Things right.
yeah. Well, if we can, like I said, if the more felony adjudications we get, if we can take those felony adjudications and treat those kids in the community, they'll reward us with more funding. So that's what we try to do.
And actually, the state has been recognized nationally as, through this Reclaim program, as the only state that has cracked that nut, as funding, for juveniles and being a success. And statewide, I think the state's been able to close like 5, state facilities because the populations just aren't there anymore. They're staying local. That's the way they should be.
The populations have gone from 2,700 in state institutions down to less than 500.
Yeah, it's
today.
400 and some.
Yeah, it's so for the $30.6 million that they invest in the counties, it's saving them probably tenfold that in the state budget.
My biggest mantra is that this is one of the only funded non-mandates we have.
Right.
You don't have to participate in Reclaim Ohio if you don't want to. But it's been advantageous not only financially, but most importantly, again, for our young people and their families. All right. With that, is there a motion then to execute amendment number 2 to the contract or as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. All right, next.
The second thing is just the grant update for this coming year. So recommendation of Judge James A. Shriver, Clermont County Juvenile Court, to execute an Ohio Department of Youth Services juvenile grant agreement and funding application update by and between the Board of County Commissioners, State of Ohio, Department of Youth Services on behalf of Juvenile Court for Reclaim Ohio Grant Subsidy Program in the amount of $967,865.41, which the Youth Services Grant Subsidy Program in the amount of $275,664, and competitive reclaim allocation in the amount of $150,000, which represents the base, variable, and competitive reclaim allocations for fiscal year 2017, which begins July 1st, for the biennial period commencing July 1st, 15, and ending June 30th of 17, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Of course, you're going to have to explain again the competitive.
The competitive reclaim is, because they've been able to close down all those state institutions. The last one that they closed down, they actually closed down because of the population wasn't there. All the previous close downs have really been because the state didn't have the money to fund those facilities anymore. So with the last closing of the facility that was operating at $28 million a year, some number close to that, they decided to give some of those funds back to the community. So they decided to come up with, they wanted us to use evidence-based programming. So that was pretty much what they had. I think they had 3 different funding sources, but as long as we were, willing to do evidence-based programming, through an RFP process, we applied for and received 2 pots of those funds. I think December 14, early 15 is when we actually got those monies, and it's really for a 3-year period. So we're getting $150,000 times 3 years of funding for competitive reclaim.
If I recall, when you all applied for the monies, you got what you applied for.
Yeah, and on both applications, yeah. So I don't think there's too many. Montgomery County might have been another county, but very few counties got 2 awards for their RFPs, and we got both of them. So we're operating a multi-dimensional family therapy program, which again, it has child focus going into the homes of these kids and working with the kid one day, the parents the next day, and a combination thereof the third day on a weekly basis to do intensive home-based services to get at whatever the issues are with the kids and the families. And the other is a parent project, which is group sessions where the parents come in with the kids and they do sessions with the parents actually in our court, again with child focus.
Well, the thing is, so many times we talk about rehabilitation, but unfortunately, some of these youth have to be habilitated.
Yeah. Right.
First place. And so again, I just want to give kudos again to our county juvenile court, to the judge, and to the Ohio Department of Youth Services to their reclaim. again, for thinking out of the box, and they all do a great job. It's a great partnership.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the support of the commissioners, especially you, Bob, serving on that Reclaim Advisory Committee for all these years. I have a lot of people that come up to me and say, wow, you actually have a county commissioner that serves on the Reclaim Committee, because a lot of the counties, they're just looking to figure out how to take that money away from the counties and utilize it for other purposes. And
that's the one thing, too, is that whenever it was established, we made sure that counties could not use that monies, again, to supplement. I mean, to take away from what their allocation was.
Yeah.
All right. With that, is there a motion then to execute the Ohio Department of Youth Services Juvenile Court Grant Agreement and Funding Application Update as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Thanks, Gary. Please pass along to the judge, too. Thanks. All right, next. Hey, welcome back.
Hello. The next add-on is the recommendation of Judy Eschman, the Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybolt, County Administrator, to execute Amendment Number 1 to the Local Workforce Development System Sub-Grant Agreement by and among the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services and Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Local Area 12 representatives, including the Butler, Clermont, and Warren County Commissioners, the Local Workforce Investment Board, and Warren County as the fiscal agent and administrative entity for the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act Local Area 12 Workforce Area. Previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on July the 15th of 2015, to define the roles and responsibilities of said parties in and as it relates to the use of sub-grant funds allocated to WIOA Local Area 12 by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services for the administration of workforce development activities pursuant to Section 5101.20 of the Ohio Revised Code, with said Amendment Number 1 to extend the sub-grant agreement to be effective through June 30th, 2017, to add language pertinent to the Comprehensive Case Management and Employment Program, and to incorporate other additions, deletions, and modifications thereto as submitted and required by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services and as further defined therein, effective upon execution through June 30th, 2017, with all other terms and conditions of the original sub-grant agreement to remain in full force and effect.
The motion then to execute Amendment Number 1 as recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. And I believe we do have one personnel.
One personnel action, yes, sir. Department of Job and Family Services, we have Kathleen Wagner, Social Services Worker 3, termination dismissal effective 6/15 of 2016.
All right, is there a motion then to approve the personnel action as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Any other add-ons?
No, sir.
All right, we'll take a 5-minute recess to have our minutes prepared. Again, we want to let the record show the commissioners came out of its recess and back into our regular session. And Ed, we have the minutes from today's session in front of us, and
Had a
you're
chance
ready.
to review the minutes and find them correct, so I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as prepared.
I'll second that.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And with no other business, is there a motion to adjourn today's session?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Thank you all. God bless.